My husband, 34, and I, female 31, bought our first single-story house a few weeks ago. We both put money towards it and our names are on the title. Days ago, we hosted dinner for his family. My family lives in another state and friends to celebrate this occasion. They brought gifts and took a tour around the house. We had an overall good time till dinner. My husband suddenly started telling the story of how much he sacrificed, how many extra jobs he took and how many years he spent to save for and buy this house, completely ignoring my role in it. I was confused. I kept staring at him as he went on about how he found the house and how much trouble he got into to get it. His family and friends looked impressed as he said, "My house this, my house that." I said, "Hold on," and told them that it's not his house but our house because we both equally saved and contributed equally to purchase it. His mom asked if I was serious, and I offered to show her the legal document. My husband looked at me shocked and got quiet while his friends and family kept looking at him. He then excused himself to the bathroom for 40 minutes. I had to say goodbye to the guests by myself. He later blew up asking what the heck I just did. I said he shouldn't have lied to them in the first place. He asked, "What could you have possibly gained by saying what you said? What could you have possibly lost if you didn't? Do you ever think before you speak?" I got mad and replied that he was dismissing my role in buying the house and I didn't like that. He was like, "Oh, so you decided to humiliate me in front of my family and friends to appear important. Pretentious much?" I found this insulting, but he argued I messed up and ruined his joy in the new home when I could have avoided it. Finally, I got tired of arguing, so I went to sleep. He's gone radio silence the next day and has been acting upset for days now. LOL, he practiced this speech in the bathroom for 40 minutes, and that's the best he could come up with? Not the idiot, OP, and find yourself a good divorce lawyer. By his mother's answer, I can't imagine what other lies he told her about the house, or anything else. He lied flat out to make himself look more important. He's massively projecting because he's the one who was being pretentious. This is not a good look for him. Also, he's going on the best defense is a good offense tact because he has to know he's wrong and is hoping that by blowing up at you, then giving you the cold shoulder, you'll just shut up about it and take the blame for his behaviour. All in all, this is disturbing. This behaviour is manipulative and could get into abusive territory now that he thinks he has you nailed down, buying a house together. He seems to have a very skewed idea of your marriage, owning a house and both your contributions to it. Does he think your part of the money just appeared out of thin air, or does he think what's mine is mine, what's yours is also mine, so I contributed everything? Definitely a red flag. I would look further into his behaviour and decide if this is something you want to live with your whole life. Exactly, but it sounds like there's something fishy about the way he may be describing your marriage situation to his family. Is there a cultural issue here? Is he supposed to be the breadwinner who alone provides for his entire family? Just you in this situation? Why was it so important to your spouse to make everyone think you hadn't contributed? He wanted to act like the big man in his family, without even asking you if OP minded him taking all the credit and assumed she would sit there quietly like a good little wife. Fun fact, buying a house with another person is a bigger commitment and a bigger deal than getting married. Compared to splitting a house, divorce is easy. OP, your husband is a liar trying to discredit you. If it really was something innocent, he would have agreed and not gone to hide in the bathroom for 40 minutes to pout. My wife and I have been married for 6 years now. My wife Grace is beautiful. She's a very girly girl, liking things like pink, flowers, purses and heels. Before the global issue, Grace would always dress for a runway. She would have on makeup, heels, dresses, perfume, smooth skin, etc. During the global issue, though, my wife's job got moved to at home. She stopped her beauty routine and spent most of the days in long t-shirts, shorts, sweatpants or her pyjamas. I understood it since we weren't really going anywhere. Grace also stopped wearing makeup, doing her hair and shaving. While this bothered me because I like having a beautiful wife, I figured it was until her job moved back to the office. Now things are open again. My job has been moved to the office, but Grace told me she didn't want to return and opted to keep working from home. Her wardrobe has completely changed in the past 2 years. She hardly wears her dresses, cute shirts, skirts, makeup or anything like before. It's men's t-shirts with sayings on them like, "I'm grumpy," jeans, sweatpants and tennis shoes. And she's completely stopped shaving and waxing. Now she'll dress up a bit if we go out or have company, but that's it. Finally, Grace tells me it's too much work. So now for the part where I may be an idiot. Before the global issue, we went on a date night. Since we haven't done it, I suggested a night out at an expensive restaurant. I did pick this restaurant on purpose. Grace said no and suggested we order takeout. When I refused, she suggested a restaurant like IHOP or Chili's. Her excuse? She didn't feel like shaving her legs for one of her dresses and wanted to be comfortable. I snapped, saying it wouldn't hurt you to dress up for once. She accused me of only liking her looks. This isn't true. I told her I was just tired of feeling like I was living with a homeless woman. Grace ended up locking herself in our bedroom. I know my words were harsh. I ordered a pizza and tried to apologize, but Grace wouldn't open the door. I slept on the couch. Grace is still giving me the cold shoulder, refusing to speak to me or be in the same room as me. I know I hurt her feelings with my words. However, I think this is depression or isolation from the global issue, since Grace had no problem looking like a model before. Am I the idiot? You are the idiot. Do you know what the global situation taught a lot of women? That the expensive beauty culture shoved in our faces all day long is BS. We can be braless, we can be hairy, we can be comfortable all the time instead of 20% of the time, and dress up solely when we want to and not because it's expected. I don't understand these men who suddenly lose attraction to their wives or girlfriends the second she stops shaving, stops wearing makeup and stops doing her hair. My boyfriend has no problem finding me attractive whether I'm all dolled up or in sweatpants, and it's not like I'm a 10 when I'm all dolled up. It's just so odd to me. It's not like she looks like a different person, she just looks like herself when she just woke up or something. Hey OP, you shave your legs, underarms and balls, then do your eyebrows. Put on makeup layer by layer, but be careful or you might make yourself look more like a clown than you already are. Next, do your nails, toes, hair and pick an outfit. Balance in the heels too. Now do this every day. Being beautiful is work. It's a routine. It's work and your wife isn't depressed. She doesn't want to do it anymore. She realized how much work it takes her to be beautiful and didn't want to do it anymore. You insulted her by calling her homeless. An insult to your wife and homeless people who often do not have access to washing and grooming. Apologize to your wife. Try to put yourself in her heels. Your wife wants a more comfortable wardrobe, and if you don't like that, then buy a Barbie. The matriarch of our family, my grandmother, has multiple iconic meals, not unique, that are a family staple, including her apple streusel. My brother Ben, 27, has been dating Jess, female 26, for nearly 4 years, but has only met my grandmother once. Ben and Jess got engaged last November, and they'd seen most of us individually or in small groups, but not as one big family. A few days before this dinner, Jess came over to drop some flowers off for my mom, and we got talking. She mentioned that she was planning on making an apple streusel to bring over for dessert. I told her my grandmother would make one since she always makes them for any event. She already knew this. So what I perceived as a joke and something along the lines of, it'll be a fun little competition of whose is better and we have to keep the tradition alive. I laughed it off and made a joke about how no one could beat my grandmother, but the conversation ended on a friendly note. I didn't think she was serious. Plot twist. She was. The family dinner rolls around and she rocks up with said dessert. She hands it over to me to put in the kitchen and I'm like, what the heck? My other brother, who was in the kitchen, also thought it was weird and low-key disrespectful. She comes in to get a glass of water and I ask why she brought this dessert. She repeats the above reasons. I asked if she'd asked my grandmother, Mom, if they wanted to do this little competition, and she was like, no, why should I? Since it had to be heated up, I told her I'd ask my mom first since I didn't think this competition was a good idea. She asked if I was the apple streusel police, and so I told her I'd put it in the fridge so it stayed fresh and she could take it with her when they leave. She got angry, and it was this back and forth of me and my brother saying this competition idea was rude, and her not getting why it was bad, and then said, your grandmother's not Oprah, she doesn't control apple streusel and mine's probably better anyway. My brother and I were low-key shocked and angry because maybe it's just our family, but you don't disrespect the matriarch. I grabbed the spoon, opened to the bin, and scooped it all out. She started crying, which drew my brother, her fiancé, in, and they left. Once my brother and I explained, most agreed with me about her bringing the dessert and competition idea, but my brother has blacklisted me, and my brother from the wedding and 2 cousins who also took my side. So, Am I the idiot? It must be lovely to be able to throw food away like that. Secondly, maybe she's trying to be part of the family. Lovely way to spoil relationships. She's a guest and she brought a dessert. You didn't need to eat it, but you had no right to throw it out. And your mom was right. You are acting like the apple streusel police. In case you don't get it, you are the idiot. Disagree. It's everyone's the idiot here. She shouldn't have pushed so hard against everyone telling her this was a distasteful move, especially after you told her not to bring that in the first place. That being said, leaving it in the fridge for her to take home afterward was a perfectly viable suggestion that was already on the table. Shoveling hers into the garbage so nobody could have it at all because she did something crappy is also a crappy move. That's like being the kid who breaks your friend's game because you told them you already had one planned for game night. The fiancé repeatedly joked about a competition and brought the dish after she was told that Grandma always makes it. Do you honestly think that the fiancé wouldn't have brought out the pie anyway? Based on what? OP told her twice, once before the dinner and when she brought the pie, that Grandma's making the apple pie. The first time, she completely ignored OP and did it anyway. The second time, at dinner, she argued with OP. Who feels any desire to compete with an older woman? Even if OP was a bit rude to throw it out, this lady was a huge idiot for bringing the apple streusel over under these circumstances. OP's not the idiot. I've, 27 female, been with my husband, 32, for 3 years, and we're expecting our first baby together. Long story short, my family and friends decided to throw me a baby shower and brought me a variety of gifts which consisted mainly of baby care essentials. I stored everything in the storage area but woke up the next day and they were all gone. I freaked out and called my husband. He didn't pick up, so I waited till he got back. He got back with money in his hands. I told him my baby shower gifts were gone, and he said he took them and sold them. All of them. The baskets, books, pyjamas, diaper pack, pacifiers, stuff worth $50 to hundreds of dollars. I asked him why, and he said he wanted to help his friend get his van fixed so they could go on a trip next week. I started yelling at him, saying that I needed those things for our baby, but he said we already have a nursery full of essentials, then said he had no choice because his friends threatened to exclude him from the trip if he didn't help fix the van. I fought with him and he said I was overreacting. I told everyone what he did and he started getting calls and texts from them, basically calling him names and shaming him. He yelled at me, saying I messed up and acted immaturely by exposing him to everyone and sending them after him. He said that it's his baby too, and he's entitled to half those gifts. He believes I told them a sob story and ruined his reputation. He left and has been staying with a friend, refusing to return my calls till I fix my mistake. I was so mad and probably done the wrong thing. Am I the idiot? OP, you are deeply lost if you can entertain even for one more minute that you might be the idiot here. He knows he's the idiot here, or he wouldn't have gone out in secret to sell his family's goods to get parts for his buddy's mystery machine. He doesn't care. So let him stare at his friends indefinitely. It's going to be easier to care for one child than two, and at least you have a chance to raise the little one not to be an idiot like his dad. Half the gifts are his. No. All of the gifts are the baby's, and he took all of them, not just the half he stupidly claimed was his. Your husband doesn't seem to want to provide for his child. He doesn't prioritize his family over his friends. He needs to reimburse you for all the gifts and find a new place to sleep at night. He'll be lucky if you choose to stay. So your husband took all of your child's gifts and sold them because he wanted to take himself on a trip with his buddy? Reread that, OP. Your husband stole gifts from your child. Then he sold them so he could have the money for himself. That is so messed up. It's infuriating, and no, it's not okay. You had absolutely every right to tell your family and friends what he did. They spent hundreds and thousands on gifts that he probably sold for cheap because he wanted quick money for selfish reasons. God, what's next, babe? I really needed a new snowboard, so I returned the car seat we bought because we don't really need it. Not the idiot, but divorce him. Some quick background. My middle brother is getting married in July. It's a destination wedding that will require my partner and me to spend a good deal of money to get there, along with accommodations, food, etc. during the trip. This is not a problem as I really want to attend my brother's wedding and I haven't seen most of my family in years. About a week ago, my dad texted me to ask how much money I'm giving my brother and his bride for their wedding gift. My dad has always been sketchy with money, but I felt comfortable answering this question and told him I would only match half of what my younger brother is giving him, which would be $300 from me, because I'm spending more money and have to make more arrangements to attend the destination wedding. Right after I mentioned this, my dad started to hound me over text, asking if I could give my brother and his fiancée the gift sooner rather than later, as in now. So I told my father I would be giving them the money in an envelope on their wedding day. My father proceeds to tell me that they're hurting for funds to pay for the wedding, which is set to cost $25,000, and that they need my $300 or the wedding might have to be postponed. I didn't have much of a response to that, so we ended the conversation there. Every morning since that conversation, my dad sends me texts and tries to contact me over the phone and continues to tell me that unless I send my gift over, the wedding will have to be postponed indefinitely. I think it's good I didn't buy my plane tickets yet because things in my family always get shifted around at the last minute. I told him politely to let me be and that I'd made up my mind and that they probably shouldn't have this expensive wedding if they need my gift that much. I told him I was getting off as I needed to get ready for work, and he called me selfish and asked how I could do this to my brother. Am I the idiot for not giving my brother his wedding money and possibly causing his wedding to be moved? OP, you should probably call your brother and get the real story. Sounds like your dad's cooking up a porky. Would $300 stop a $25,000 wedding? Methinks not, and if it's true, they should have a cheaper wedding. $25,000 and OP has to buy tickets, food, and pay for accommodation. Are they insane? Something sounds really off, and I can't figure out what. However, I agree with you. Your brother and his fiancée have no business having destination weddings when they couldn't afford it in the first place. Too bad for them, and too bad if they have to postpone it. They can go get married at the JP office. Either way, their financial problems are not yours. As for your dad, tell him your brother can fight his own battles. Why does he have Daddy constantly harass you? What's going on? God, Dad is lying. $300 is not going to make or break a $25,000 wedding. Tell him you're done talking to him about this. Block him if you need to. If your brother really needs your gift early, he can ask himself, though you're still not obligated to give it. Based on your family description, I wouldn't be surprised if the whole thing was a money grab and nobody actually gets married.